Hello Aries, this is your 2016 to 2017 annual forecast. It's a very exciting and busy year ahead, so let me break it down for you. Well, as you know, Uranus is still in your sign and going to be there until 2018-2019. And so many of you Aries, you've had huge upheavals in your life. Lots of changes, surprises, moves, things not being possibly quite as settled as you'd like them to be. And also an opportunity for a lot of new beginnings. So that's really the good side of this Uranus that's shaking you up and also wanting you to be more free, liberating you from all the things that have been bothering you, maybe the things that you've been doing that you don't enjoy doing anymore. Aries, it's time to just throw off those shackles that have been holding you back. Oh, excuse me. What is very interesting about, I'm getting excited, you see. What is very interesting about this year is that there is very little in the main heavy hitting, hard, long-standing planets, the outer planets, that is in fixed signs. Yes, so from Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, all of these guys are either in mutable signs or cardinal signs. So what does this mean? Well, when things are in cardinal signs, as is Uranus in your sign, you're a cardinal sign, and Pluto still in Capricorn. So these are the cardinal energies in your chart. So cardinal is about you being very proactive and making changes and taking the lead. So it's time to take the lead in your own life and be proactive about it, not wait for anybody else to make those decisions. And also many of you making a lot of very powerful decisions connected to your career, your life path, the meaning of your life, all those kinds of things. This is where you are to take a leadership role. And the rest of the planets, the powerful planets, that stay in signs for a long time are in mutable signs. Saturn is in a mutable sign, Jupiter is in a mutable, and in September goes into a cardinal sign. So this balance of a no fixed, which is very interesting. So what does it mean, how I would interpret this? The way, and it's unusual, and the way I would interpret it is this, that yes, make beginnings, make starts, don't be afraid to take an odd risk or two, but at the same time, because of the mutable energies, be ready to change direction, to flow. Mutable is about mutating. The word to mutate is to change, to evolve, to change our DNA, to evolve to a higher consciousness, all those kinds of things, especially with Saturn in your 9th house this year, Aries, which is all about you looking at your spirituality more seriously. What gives you a feeling of meaning in your life, that you're doing something that's valuable, that every day also that you're really connecting with people on a wider level. Now at the end of the video there will be a list of the important dates, so don't worry about making notes. I know lots of you people ask me this, so at the end you'll have all the dates and you'll be able to make notes at the end. So on March the 9th, I'm going to cover the eclipses because again with the eclipses there is no fixed eclipse, only mutable and cardinal. Again, so this sense of forward movement, which is cardinal, the cardinal signs herald the seasons of the year, and the mutable are all about, okay, now what do we need to change? How do I need to think differently? How do I need to do something slightly differently so that the actions I'm taking can be more successful, more productive for me? So this first solar eclipse happening on March the 9th is happening in Pisces, so in this 12th house for you, March the 9th. And remember, the eclipses, they start to take effect often for a few weeks before, and they can last many months afterwards. And So here, March 9th, this solar eclipse in your 12th, shining a light, maybe bringing out a secret, something you've been keeping suppressed, coming out. There could be some very powerful dreams around this time, but certainly this would be a very good time to work with psychology and also anything in the metaphysical field and anything involving healing. And on March the 23rd, we've got a lunar eclipse happening, Aries, for you in your 7th house. A lunar eclipse in your 7th house of relationships. So this could bring a culmination in a relationship. So maybe you've been dating someone for a while, and the relationship either may go forward, or you may say, no, it's not working, and it's time to move on to something else. Or that you may have a realization about relationships generally, something coming to fruition where somebody in your life really comes a whole lot closer. That too is a possibility with that lunar eclipse in Libra. Now, the big news of this year is that Mars goes retrograde. From April the 18th until June 30th. Initially going retrograde up here in Sagittarius until almost the end of May, and then afterwards going further retrograde into Scorpio. So Mars goes retrograde once every couple of years for about 80 days. And there are certain do's and don'ts generally advised during Mars retrograde. So for you, it's retrograde in this 9th and 8th houses. Generally, it's not the best time to start a new activity, but it's a wonderful time to revise something. So some of you may be revising things to do with finances, to do with a partnership. You may be revising some travel plans, something that you got started, you thought you were going on, and maybe it needs to be revised or readjusted. It's not a good time to get into a fight. It's not a good time to start a divorce. It's not a good time to buy anything mechanical, because Mars rules things mechanical, and when it goes retrograde, often they kind of don't work as effectively. It's not the best time to have elective surgery. Doesn't mean to say if you have to have surgery and it's emergency, of course, but if you're having a choice, because Mars rules surgeons, if you can avoid it, it's best not to have elective surgery. So it's very good for renovating, repairing, refining anything. That is very good during that Mars retrograde. And between May and October, we've got this square happening, a square energy, which I'm going to put in red, so we'll take a note of it, because square energies are very important. A square happening between Saturn and Neptune. And whenever there's a square, there's a certain dissonance. It's almost like if you can imagine a musical chord that's like, oh, you want it to resolve. Yes, it's sort of hanging there. That's how squares appear to me when I look at them. And so this square happening here between Saturn and Neptune. For some of you, you may have been working on a project really hard, and sometime, especially between May and October, everything comes to fruition. Everything begins to happen, begins to flow, or things just start to fade away and dissolve, and they just don't turn out at all. And the issue with Saturn and Neptune is that you can't force Neptune. So if you find yourself really pushing something, and pushing, and it's just not happening, then know that it's the Saturn square and it's just time to let it go, or time to allow the universe to give you the direction rather than you pushing the direction. Equally, if Neptune is very dominant and you've been going with the flow, maybe it's also time to bring some structure in, so that that Neptune isn't just making you dizzy and feeling a little drugged and confused about everything. So I think that possibility of how that could play out. Between June and July, we've got a wonderful aspect, a trine aspect between Jupiter and Pluto. Oh, this is a lovely aspect. So I've known people make huge amounts of money with this aspect. For you, it could be some very good news connected with work. Or connected with your life purpose, what you feel you want to be doing out in the world. And in December, sorry, I need to back up a little. September the 1st, we've got a solar eclipse happening in Virgo in your 6th house. And this solar eclipse, so new beginnings connected with work. And Jupiter being there until September the 9th. So maybe a new start, a new job, a new possibility, a new boss, a new situation. Maybe a new beginning connected with your health or your well-being. And maybe you'll start volunteering and helping others in some way. The big news as well on September the 10th that Jupiter changes sign going into Libra. And we'll be there until October 10th of 2017. So Jupiter here in Libra, Aries, in your relationship house. So wherever Jupiter goes, it brings good fortune. It also it magnifies situations, and it brings you abundance. So it could well be a marriage coming up for you. It could well be a situation where you meet lots of new people, lots of new interesting new people. Sometimes Jupiter brings you foreigners, people from a different culture. But that should be really rather exciting for you, this Jupiter energy from September the 10th in your relationship house. September the 16th, we've got a lunar eclipse happening again here in Pisces. So we've got 12th house in March and September getting some attention here. So it's important to get time out, time alone, to digest all the things that are happening, because as you can see, there's a lot happening. So September, there needs to be some downtime, there needs to be some quiet time, some stillness, some meditation, getting in touch with that intuitive voice inside that can guide you very, very well. And finally in December, we've got a trine between Saturn and Uranus. Yay! Sorry. Yes, sorry. I'm looking at Neptune here. Neptune's fogged me. Neptune does fog. Neptune's the one planet. If I'm ever doing anything about Neptune, when I used to record some of my classes, it would always, whenever I start talking about Neptune, that little bit would be erased. So, sorry about that. So, a glorious trine in December between Uranus and Saturn. So this could be a wonderful trip, a journey that you take. It could be some great news. You may have some good news about a court case, anything legal that's been going on, and anything you've been working on really hard can suddenly, absolutely just have that burst of growth. Unexpected but wonderful growth. And it could also be personal growth of yours as well, just getting activated or in a very practical way. So I wish you a wonderful 2016. I'd be delighted to hear from those of you who'd like a chart, doing a personal chart for your personal reading. What do the stars hold for you personally? Please, I'm always delighted to hear from you. Thank you for commenting, for sharing, and I love hearing your comments. I love hearing what happens for you, what you're thinking about some of the things that I'm sharing here. So have a wonderful year, and I look forward to seeing you during this coming year many times. Much love to you all, Aries. Bye for now.